Aloha! This is Leimomi Keliikuli, Psychic Business Mentor here, coming from the Big Island of Hawaii. How's everyone doing today? Today's show, my Fame and Fortune Impact Millions show. I will be talking about how to create fame and fortune being a trailblazer. So this is going to be a very interesting topic. If you're listening in, just say hello. This is Leimomi, and I'm a psychic business mentor here, and I basically help my my clients to up level with ease and grace by actually clearing soul level blocks, and also up leveling them very quickly just by doing clearing work, but also like helping them with mindset and up leveling their consciousness. So in today's show, I want to be talking about, how to create, fame and fortune, but being a trailblazer. So I think like this would interest a lot of people here, and I'm going to kind of break it down for you and like really how to get in alignment in this way. So hi Stephanie, I see you just jumped on in. Yeah, I see there's some people here, so like totally say hello just so that I can see you, that you're actually listening. It would be so awesome, because in my feed I can't always see who's on live. So and so my show that I'm going to talk about, it's just going to consist first of me giving you some value, explaining about this subject, and then after that we will have some Q&A time, and you can ask me whatever you want in terms of this subject, or whatever you got some awakening and some takeaways about this. So think of this as a time when we can actually interact with each other and not just only listen to my stuff. So I really want to share with you, but I also want to connect with you. Oh, thank you for the likes. And of course, yeah, if you like any of this, share this. At the bottom, there's like a little running man. I think you can totally share this with your friends. And definitely subscribe at the top of the screen. You can see that whenever I get on live, it will pop up on your phone. Hi, Dana. And hi, Brendan. So yes, thank you for saying hi. Because sometimes I'm talking to myself and nobody says hi. So I love it when you just connect with me to say hi. Okay, so anyway, to the subject. Oh, autocorrect. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was saying my name, but it was spelled wrong, right, Dana? I hate that. Don't you hate like autocorrect? Like every time when you type in something, the thing makes it totally what it's not. And you're like typing it in, and then it's like a whole different sentence than what you started with, and you're like, oh my god, I gotta go back and do it again. I hate that. It drives me nuts too. Okay, so here are some of the things that I want to talk about first in terms of what fame and fortune is and impact millions, because I think like we kind of think like fame is like, oh, I don't care about being famous, or yeah, I don't really care that much if I have a lot of money, right? But I have to tell you, without fame and fortune, you cannot impact millions. Like you cannot like impact millions, meaning like share your message and help a lot of people, because from that perspective, impacting millions, you cannot just be poor, right? And you cannot be known, right? So to me, when you really get really known, you'll be like beyond, right? When you get more fame and fortune, you'll be beyond just like that neighborhood famous guy that everybody knows in the neighborhood, right? Like you want to actually be known by everybody about your work, about what you are revolutionizing, right? So when I say, becoming a trailblazer, I really mean like revolutionizing your industry, revolutionizing the ideas of like, what you stand for. So I really think like first you need to be super clear as to what do you stand for. Like, do you stand for like being an amazing mother? Do you stand for, bringing in spirituality, right? Like whatever like you're passionate about, even if you've got like a product or service or something like that, I really want you to think about what is that one thing that you want to revolutionize in your industry first. Because when you know what that is, then you can actually start bringing in your story. You can talk about your message. You can just get out there, right? And just share what your ideas about, what really lights you up. And the more you do that, the more you're likely to get, of course, fame, fortune, and impact millions. I think like they all three go together. Like we always think like, well, yeah, if I impact millions, I'll have a lot of money and, fame. But the truth is like you have to do all three. You cannot just like say, well, I have a lot of money, but I don't want to be famous. I want to help people, right? Impact millions, but I don't need any of that stuff. Without having that expansive state where you do have the luxury and the opportunities and the freedom, that's what money gives you, right? And also without people knowing you beyond your industry, then like everybody all loves you in your own neighborhood, but they don't really know exactly what you do when you go out there. And it's really important to do all three, in my opinion. I'm all about doing your purpose in the most like elegant but also passionate way where you trailblaze and you just express 100% be yourself. So when I say be a trailblazer, I believe that you have to be visible. You have to like just self-express. Like if you really love what you do, get on live streams like this. Like, you can be in nature, you can do whatever you want, just show up. This is one of the biggest things that I think, like, as a trailblazer, we kind of think like, well, I'll just do it sometimes or do it like whenever I feel like it. But real trailblazers honestly show up every day. They get out there. They're really totally unapologetic. And in everything that they do in their life, in their business, and, however they take care of their community, that is a true trailblazer. They're just totally unapologetic. There always will be the first person to show up, like even when they do feel ashamed with their body or their self-image and don't really feel enough and don't feel worthy. I see a lot of like these industry leaders, they still show up despite that, like they feel icky inside, they feel like their hair is messy or whatever, like they show up. That is a true trailblazer. You're just totally unapologetic. And you also, have to have this concept that you have to be ready to shake up your entire tribe, okay? A lot of spiritual entrepreneurs, in my opinion, are way ahead of their tribe. They're like 20 some steps ahead of their tribe. And the way that they live, the way that they think is so like way out there. So maybe something like weird, right? Or you feel like you're the black sheep. Honestly, you need to hold that vibration for your tribe in order to show them what that is like. Like, what does it like being totally unapologetic? Like, most people just follow the leader, right? We are here in this world to not be a follower. We're here right now to be who we are 100%, right? And just show up. But I think like most people do not show up. So then, of course, there's no possibility of creating more fame and more fortune and impacting millions, right? You have to be ready to shake it up. Like, totally get people really uncomfortable. And the more uncomfortable, actually, the better. So that's how you know you're being a real trailblazer. Hi, Tara. The other thing is you never should look back. You should never look back at, like all your past and like dwell on it or your negative beliefs or anything like that. You should really like trailblaze, go forward. You go and cut the trees down, right? Like in the jungle until you actually find out what is the beautiful retreat center that you will create. Like there's actually, this is a good example. Actually, there's a botanical garden here in the Big Island that there's actually, I don't know how many acres, but it was like a lot of acres, like hundreds of acres of land. This one guy just decided that he's just going to like create his own garden. And then he used his own machete and for like 10 years every day, like get rid of all those bushes and the big trees. And I'm telling you, like in the Big Island is huge trees. So this guy was like 20, I don't know, like 10 years ago or something. That's what he did all day. And now like everybody can enjoy it. and it's a beautiful botanical garden, right? That's what it's like when you're trailblazing. You don't know exactly what exactly you're kind of doing in the process. You're kind of just like getting your machete, breaking everything down, shaking things up, right? Removing the trash, bringing in all the good stuff so that you can recreate a whole new tribe, a whole new society, and everything like that. And now that place is, based on probably donations and stuff like that. But this one guy had that one dream, which is he wanted to create a botanical garden and he wanted to create it. That's all it takes as to being totally like a trailblazer, okay? So you always have to think like, how can I move forward? How can I impact more? How can I help help my tribe to see in a different perspective that I'm seeing? And you just continuously show up, right? The other thing is, of course, during that process, a lot of your stuff will come up, like a lot of resistance. And that is when you're actually going for that dream, that's when you really need to clear any of those fame and fortune and soul level blocks, because like I was saying in many of my shows, like with all the blocks in the background, there's no way to up level your consciousness with your body. So what I see happening a lot in very famous people, honestly, and VIP people or celebrities is, yeah, they make a lot of money, they get famous, right? They impact millions, but then their actual karmic background is like holding them down. And that's why they have problems with their relationships, problems with like being able to like their body getting overweight, or they're obsessed about their body. They're like have ADD, they have like all this crazy like noise in their head and they can't sleep, and like they seem to have it all, but actually they haven't upgraded their physical body consciousness. And the only way to do that is actually they need to clear it in their Akashic records. So what I found is if you clear that in your Akashic records, your third, your fourth, and your fifth dimensional aspects that keeps you heavy, right? Then you can line up to your seventh dimensional aspect, which is where, you create more fame and fortune. You get the means, you get everything you need in order to impact millions, right? And if everything in your DNA, in your karmic background is not all cleared, even though you're going for the bigger vision, what happens is your body somaticizes all of the crap, like in your head, in your spirit, like you don't feel connected to your soul. Your body gets like either like gets overweight, or you can be really obsessed about how can you be how can you like make your body and move your body more faster, moving more 100 miles per hour. And I think that's what happens when you're so driven, is you don't know how to stop, and you just keep going and going and going, and you're trailblazing, but your body is just like, it's feeling empty. Your soul is feeling empty. You don't feel complete. And that is why, it's because you really need to clear that soul level blocks so that your consciousness, your 3D body can catch up with your fame and fortune, and you're impacting millions. So I think that's really important, that I think trailblazers should know, is that when it's cleared, you won't have any background noise like holding you back, right? Like, and we think like it's something that I need to like fix, like, yeah, get personal training or like eat better and do a different diet. But actually what's happening is your spiritual, your emotional, mental bodies are like really unstable. And so it just gets louder in your head and everything somaticizes in your body. And I see this over and over again. Okay. So it's so important to clear your soul level blocks. And there's actually 4 levels of clearing that I have to do in order to really get you to your highest vibration and upgrade your consciousness, like upgrade your consciousness and your body at the same time. So when you get to your 7th dimension aspect and above, you just do your purpose, you trailblaze, you have all the fame and fortune, you're living your purpose, you feel so aligned, everything will feel very aligned, and you don't have any ego about it. You're just helping and you're impacting millions. That's really what it's all about. The other thing also as a trailblazer is you really don't want to follow. You don't want to have, well, how do I say this? Like, normally we try to follow the leader, right? But when we follow the leader, we follow that leader that we are interested in, but actually that is not necessarily what is soul aligned for us, right? Maybe they can be inspiring, maybe they can be very powerful people, right? But you really have to create your own following and just self-express, be the leader, and do it soul aligned, right? For me as a healer, I am leading my movement by being my own unique way of trailblazing, which is I heal people. I express, I inspire, but I also get people to acknowledge how they can bring pieces of themselves and all our gifts all together so they can be 100% authentically themselves, right? Hi, Mandy. Hi, Carolyn. So this is what I mean. Like you want to like lead, but it has to really be soul aligned, 100% soul aligned. If it's not soul aligned, then you're just hustling, you're just like working really hard, but maybe you might feel good and you're like expressing, but there's something that's kind of off, something's missing, and normally it's because you're not soul aligned. Also, as a trailblazer, you have to learn how to work smarter and not harder, right? Because just because you work harder doesn't mean that you will get more fame and fortune, right? It's more about like working smarter. Like it's actually about valuing your time just as much as you value money. Honestly, when you get to a point where you're just trailblazing, time is more precious than money. Like money, you can get as much as you want, but time is priceless. You can't get it back. So if you're at that level where you really need to be smarter about your time, right? Then that means that you need to create systems and things in the background to support you during that, to do that, right? And then when you of course also will get like trolls and people like says like, oh, you're crazy to do that or this, and like say a lot of bad things to you. And it's really important to not take it seriously, because when you're trailblazing and you're creating more fame and fortune, you're trying to shake up everybody. You're trying to wake everybody up. You're waking up their consciousness. You're waking up their, inner guru, their ability to really reconnect with their God within by actually hearing your message, right? So who cares, right? There's nothing to be serious about that. Like it's just true. Like you have to be unapologetic and be okay that everybody's going to hate you and everybody's just going to throw stuff at you, but that's totally fine. That's because they have to deal with up-leveling their consciousness as to where you're at, right? They have to be able to follow you, and if they don't follow you, they go and follow somebody else, so you don't even need to care about it, right? Also, you need to make sure to follow your soul's energy, follow your unique soul, and that's the secret actually to fame and fortune and impacting millions, is you need to call your tribe. You need to magnetize your tribe to you, and using your unique energy, your energetic signature, that is what will bring in the most ideal people for you. Because we're not meant to serve everybody. We are meant to express our message and be unapologetic about it. But also when we do have our, our group setting, our private setting, those people are uniquely aligning to your soul so that they can bring in their soul's gift together, because they're following you because they want to align to their unique gifts. But they just need a spike, right? Like a spark for them to remember what it is like to be empowered or to be healed or whatever that they're looking for. They're definitely looking at you as a person who helps them to align to their soul, and that is why they're actually following you, is because you are being soul aligned, so they feel it. I need to be soul aligned too. I need to like express my gifts this way, and you're definitely going to help them no matter what by just being uniquely your own soul, right? And last thing is you really need to lock into that dream reality and see it 100% and be 100% authentically yourself. And that's like the most important thing as a trailblazer. You cannot not care about any like how you get there. What matters is that you have that dream reality and lock yourself in that reality. 100% believe it. And if you're not believing it, that means that you need to cut all the leaves until you finally get to the true authentically you, and have the belief that you actually are 100% yourself. That's ultimately the goal as a trailblazer, is we just be like an authentically 100% in true authenticity. That's what I believe is actually how you can create fame and fortune and impact millions, is literally you are just 100% yourself, unapologetic. You show up every day. Even if you feel ashamed about certain things about yourself, you do it every day. You get over the fear. You don't ever look back. You look forward. You lock into that dream reality of exactly what you desire. You work smarter, not harder, right? You align to your soul's energy, and you like magnetize all your tribe to follow you, right? And you have to clear all those background noises so that it can be not a burden as to the direction that you want to go. That's like clearing those soul level blocks, right? And you have to be willing to shake it all up, get everybody all like crazy, right? Like, because they have to think in a whole different way that maybe you are seeing that no one else sees it. So how can you guide people if you don't let people see it 100%, right? Hi, Melissa. So do you understand? Everybody gets it, right? I did a whole spiel on this, and I just wanted to make it clear that trailblazing is so much deeper. There's a multidimensionality about it, and we think like it's just only like being some revolutionary leader, right? But it's so much deeper. Fame and fortune and impact millions, like you need to have it all. You need to create it all. You need to be willing to look in the perspective of how can I do this in soul alignment, not because I need to hustle and I need to like look all good or look in a certain way. Like really, the more authentic you can be, the better, right? Sometimes I can come on here without any makeup, right? Sometimes I have my hair down and it's messy, but I just 100% just express myself. My image is just what I am, right? I'm just being 100% myself. So did it help everybody? Did it enlighten you? I hope that inspired you to think in a different way in terms of what it really means to trailblaze. It really literally just means like take that dream of what you want and make that a real reality by actually going through the process of it, by just showing up, being visible, being yourself, right? Be willing to share stuff that like you've never shared before. The more you're vulnerable, the more you share about your stories, the better, because then you will just show up, right? You just express. That's all you be, is just yourself. So now we can have some Q&A. If you have any questions, now is the time to ask me. It can be about any subject, but basically, of course, like something in regards to maybe what I just talked about you know, creating fame and fortune and impact millions, and like being a trailblazer. What does that mean to you? So let me ask you that. What does that mean to you to be a trailblazer, to be a leader in your industry? Like, what does that look like? Like, how would you describe that dream reality if you had to lock yourself into that reality? What would that look like? What would that feel like? You know, how would you show up every day? Because honestly, you have to figure out how you would show up. How would you trailblaze, right? And you kind of have to choose your unique way of doing it. Like me, I love being on live, right? I like talking to you guys and connecting with people live. I could do this on a video, right? I could just talk about it and see whoever like is on there. But for me, definitely what's so aligned for me is just talking to you guys live. So that's what I do. I show up every day with my daily show live. I also, you know, do that on my YouTube channel so people have access to this kind of information. So anybody has any questions? I think like not everybody's here, but anyway, I see everybody all said hi, but everybody's all quiet, but that's fine. If you don't have any questions, then that's totally fine. We can end here. But I really want you to think about that. My goal is to get you thinking. So how would you be unapologetic, right? How would you trailblaze? What would you do every day to really impact millions, right? What is that unique way that you're going to do it? And I want you just to not only just think about it, but actually do it, you know, like tomorrow. Like if that is getting on a live stream, go do that, right? If it is writing a newsletter, go do that, right? How can I better align myself to bring in more of a trailblazer form? Melissa says. Well, you know, Melissa, you need to align with your truth, right? So be in, okay, like better aligned to be in like your, as a trailblazer, you mean? So remember, like your unique way of helping people is getting in their truth. So everybody has their own subjective way of, you know, creating what is their truth. And sometimes it's just like they just need to know, right? Like people need to know what is their truth, like totally. So I would think of like ways where people can talk to you and like ask you questions, because remember, you're kind of like this kind of soul that is about like a consultant, right? So you really don't know what you're consulting or what you're sharing or what you're channeling or intuitively being guided at the moment until like it's like somebody asks you a question. So you really have to get in front of people where people ask you questions. If that means setting it up, right? Like go set up your conference line. Or if it means, yeah, like getting on live streams like this, go do that. Like whatever is the easiest way where people can ask you questions. That is the best way to get into soul alignment for you, because when people ask you the question, then you can see, are they really telling the truth, right? Like, are they really expressing their real truth, or they're just making up stuff that is not authentic to them? Because I know you're like a lie detector, right? Like you can totally see, you can see through them and see if they're actually lying to you. And that's what's so awesome about your gift. But unless, again, somebody comes to you for that specific problem and pays you for it, they might not like what you say, right? Because it's just too much for them to handle, because it is the truth. Because it's not convenient. It's totally just like raw. So trailblazing, that's exactly what you do in trailblazing, right? Like you just be unapologetic and you just say like, hey, you know, you are doing like XYZ, and if you're not doing this or you're doing that, like, so why aren't you doing it? Or like, how would you be able to know if that's your truth or not? Like, you could just talk about that subject. Like, how would you get in your truth? A lot of people, I think, like, think that they are doing their truth, or like they're being truthful, but the depth of like what you uncover when you get them to ask you the questions, right? You really get deep, right? Melissa says, oh Lord, yes. Yeah, don't be afraid to just be out there and just be, that's what's so cool about your gift, Melissa, is because you can just totally just like this, get on a live stream and talk your truth. Maybe you get some haters, but oh well, like you don't care because you have your own truth. Like most people really care, right? But you actually don't, because you're about telling the truth. So it's like perfect as being a trailblazer, right? You just say what you want to say, and be unapologetic. That's really what I think is about. It's like leading, and like leading despite what other people say, whatever they say to you. Like when I get on this stuff, like if anybody tells me like some stupid thing, like I don't care. I don't ever like feel like they're attacking me in any way. I just like acknowledge it. Okay, yeah, that's cool. Like that's your opinion. But I'm still gonna show up and do my thing. I'm still gonna do my daily show. Like I'm gonna like show up. Just because that's what I love to do. I love helping people, impacting millions, and creating, you know, an empire. You know, it's about really creating your own unique tribe to follow you in that direction. And for me, I look like a diva queen, or I look like a rock star, or I look like this somewhat archetype that people think I am. As a psychic, as a business coach, I don't care. Because that's just the way that they perceive me. How I perceive myself is actually all that matters. I'm just being 100% myself. Hi, Tina. So anybody else have any questions about that subject? About like that, right? We were talking about trailblazing. Oops, my thing is in the front of the screen. My wire. Yeah, so don't be afraid to 100% just be like, who cares? Like, I don't have the preconception that like, even like the word fame and fortune, I don't have a preconception about that. Like most people think like, ooh, yuck, like that's somebody who's only cares about being famous and only cares about making money or something like that. Like, I think it's just the outcome of what you do. When you're doing a purpose for work, when you're being more visible, you should get more fame and fortune, and you also should impact millions at the same time, right? Melissa says, thank you for that. Yeah, you're welcome. It's really true. Just be unapologetic and just talk about your truth. And talk about it in your own perspective, and you'll really see like what that really means for people. And that's going to be your particular way you're going to guide people, right? Like I'm guiding people through healing, through love, through connection, because I'm all about divine love. That's what my soul is. So I can help heal people that maybe have been missing their soul, that maybe have missing parts of like, parts of themselves that they have lost, that they have disowned. And so that's what I do. I just talk about that, you know, and I share and I help people to see different aspects that they probably weren't able to heal for a very, very long time. And I can either do that with my clearings, or, you know, doing these live streams and stuff like that. I'm all about love and connection. So that's why I do everything live, because I want to experience that connection with you from deeply within the heart, rather than me just talking on an audio thing, like you just hear my words, right? Like I really want you to see me. When you see my presence, I want you to experience my loving presence. And so that's how you show up, is as a trailblazer. You think of that unique way of how you show up to your tribe, and you just do that over and over and over again. Mandy says, love is the key. Yes, totally. I believe it. When you have more fame and fortune, and you're famous, right, and you're impacting millions, the most natural thing is just to be unconditional love, and to get the community all together to love 100%. And to me, that's about authenticity. Really, true authenticity is love. Ultimately, right? All right, well, if you guys don't have any other questions, I'm going to jump on off. Totally, if you love what I share. Oh, Tamara, I just see you jumped on. We're just ending. Totally, like, listen to the replay if you just jumped on and you're like, you didn't hear the beginning. Every day I jump on here if I can. If I cannot, then I just don't show up. But I always try to make sure that I try to come here daily and just talk with you, connect with you. I love to see my people just like getting more and more inspired and showing up and getting the advice that they may need at the time. And so if you like what I share, you can totally subscribe. There's a button at the top of the screen. Make sure you push the blue one that says subscribe. If you love this, totally share it at the bottom. There's a share button, I think, with the running man. And if you're really wondering about your divine gifts, you can actually go to bit.ly / divine gifts biz quiz. I actually made a quiz that's about what your divine gifts is and your unique divine business. So you can totally go to that link, or if you can't find it, go look on my business page. It's on the pinned post. And you can click on there and get my quiz. So, hi Celia. Yeah, I'm just ending, so go and listen to the replay, you guys, okay? So until tomorrow, I'll see you guys again on this subject. And I'll be talking about all this kind of stuff, right? About fame and fortune and how to impact millions, doing what you love, being unapologetic and showing up totally. That's what my show is about. All right, so we'll talk soon, and I'll see you guys again. Aloha.